Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us at 7. I'm Tracey McCain.
And I'm Caitlin Francis. Of course, we do have that team coverage here on this coastal storm that's impacting a lot of you as you're waking up with us this morning. So everything you need to know to be morning ready. I know a lot of folks do have the day off, no school for kids, but your reporters Taylor Knight and Luke Hydash tracking those conditions along the shoreline for us this morning.
All right, we can hear the wind. Let's start with meteorologist Jill Gilardi to break it all down. Wind and rain, top concerns today.
Yeah, it's very easily, knocking down branches, even some trees. We gave folks a first alert to that going to happen in some places, and unfortunately, knocking out that power for some of us. And we're still dealing with those kind of conditions, and we will through most of today, which is a first alert weather day due to that coastal storm. So this is going to impact you if you're traveling, if you're outdoors. And we just want to give you an update of some of the strongest gusts we've seen so far reported with this system. Stanford and Bridgeport all coming in around 47 miles per hour. Groton about 44 right now, 39 miles per hour. But you go up towards even Windsor Locks, it's 36. So these wind speeds have been kind of picking up and flaring up even inland as well as anticipated. There's still a wind advisory along the shoreline where gusts could exceed even 45 miles per hour, continuing to cause more outages. The outages continue to gradually climb. We're going up, with time, and as people wake up too, looking out there, might get some different reports as well. So far have avoided most of that coastal flooding concern, but there's still a high tide later today. Not a whole lot happening on radar. A little bit nuisance, keeping those roads wet. Be mindful, leaves have come down. That adds in more slickness to travel. So you're going to allow extra time if you're heading out and hitting the road. That low is still poised just to the south of Long Island. It's going to be slow to move on out. So we're still going to be dealing with these waves of rain, maybe even a thunderstorm, and an additional inch or so is possible. Many areas have seen 1 to almost 2 inches. So we'll monitor for coastal flooding. The next high tide cycle is going to be this afternoon, basically from 3:30 to 5:30. There are those time frames, so we'll continue to monitor this area. But all in all, the weather for the rest of today, yes, it's going to be very windy out there, 50s with off and on rain. Those gusty winds will be pretty persistent. And speaking of that wind, look at that view in Old Saybrook, really whipping out there. And we're going to continue that team coverage now. Send it over to you, Trace.
I'll take it from here.
Sorry, Caitlin.
Thanks, Jill. Good morning, everyone. Speaking of team coverage, the roads are a little bit of a mess here as you're waking up. If you do need to be out and about, we've got some road closures. First alert here in Groton. We've got some debris across the roadway 95 northbound between exits 87 and 88. The left lane there is blocked off. Dealing with a road closure in Litchfield. Litchfield Road is closed. In Kent, Cedar Mountain Road is blocked off. In Washington, Blackville Road, portion of that area closed here. And in Simsbury, North Canton Road is also closed. In Bethel, that road closure there has since reopened. That's some good news. But again, local DPW crews could also be dealing with road closures in your town. So just make sure that if you see a road that's blocked off, you turn around and follow posted detours. It's closed for a reason. You can see that camera kind of whipping there in New Haven. That's the lower left-hand corner of your screen. Reduced visibility in Branford, Montville, New London. Roads are wet. Things are wet still here across inland in Hartford, Waterbury, Middletown, and in Meriden. We'll get you another update on those roads coming up here in just a few. That's a quick check at your Connecticut Chevy First Alert traffic report driven by your Connecticut Chevy dealers.
All right, 7:04 right now. We have team coverage to keep you up to speed on the conditions today. This coastal storm is impacting people along the shoreline. Your reporter Taylor Knight live in Milford. Taylor, how are things looking right there?
Well, the rain is still coming down lightly here in Milford, but the big story all morning has been this wind. It goes in and out. There's some really strong gusts that have come through, though. Now that it's light out, though, I want to show you the ocean. You can see Charles Island off out the coast. On a clear day here on this beach in Milford, you can see Long Island across, but because of the visibility right now, you cannot see Long Island. But the ocean is looking pretty angry this morning. These are some big waves for the Long Island Sound. You can see them crashing right here into this stone wall and then come across the beach here. Every once in a while, you get a big one to crash into this, the front porch area of this yellow house that you see in front of us, and the water just goes spraying straight up into the air. But, a low tide is coming in at 11 So the water is receding right now. It's not coming up as high as it was on this beach area, so that is good news. We are also not seeing any street flooding here in the Walnut Beach area in Milford. I'm your reporter live in Milford, Taylor Knight, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
All right, Taylor, thank you. Our team coverage now continues along the shoreline. Coastal flooding there is a little bit of a concern still here this morning.
Now, Luke Hydash is your reporter live in Old Saybrook with a check on things there. I hear your wind in your area is just really whipping there.
Yeah, the wind is really just constant down here, ladies, this morning. Sun's up now. Get a better look at the water. This is the Connecticut River here, right near the mouth of it, where it dumps out into Long Island Sound. And boy, oh boy, is it choppy this morning. It's down from where it was when we first got here, around 3:30 this morning. At that point, we were getting close to high tide. High tide was around 4 o'clock this morning, and every once in a while, you'd get a good rush of water up here onto the concrete. But that has since calmed down a little bit, but boy, is it choppy. And these seagulls this morning, the birds, it almost looks like sometimes they're flying in place just because the wind is so persistent and so constant out here this morning. The rain has pretty much all but stopped. You just get some of the sea spray here and some of the water coming off the trees. This area got about an inch and a quarter of rain since the storm began last night. The next high tide here in Old Saybrook not until about 4 or 5 o'clock tonight, so we've got some time until anything could ramp up in terms of any of that coastal flooding a little bit later today. Your reporter live in Old Saybrook this morning, Luke Hydash, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Well, the storm could also cause a lot of people to lose power. Right now, Eversource reporting almost 9,000 customers in Connecticut do not have electricity. The areas with the most outages right now, Killingworth, Clinton, and Madison. Be sure to charge any of your devices that you might need throughout the day in case you lose power.
All right, this coastal storm not just impacting us here in Connecticut, but across the region as well. New York and New Jersey in a state of emergency right now. The video on the left is out of New York. You can see trees down there, and the right, some roadway flooding in New Jersey.
We're on top of major breaking news in the Middle East right now. All of the remaining living Israeli hostages have now been released into the custody of the Red Cross on the Gaza Strip. This is all a part of a ceasefire deal that President Trump helped to broker. The release comes in exchange for more than 1,900 Palestinian prisoners held by Israel. Israel is now allowing more aid into Gaza, where the war left hundreds of thousands of Palestinians without a home. President Trump is in Israel this morning greeting hostages and addressing the Israeli parliament. He's then set to attend a Gaza peace summit in Egypt, where world leaders will discuss next steps following this ceasefire deal. This includes talks about creating a multinational peacekeeping force in the region.
It's 7:08 here. Back at home, we're following developing news in Hartford as police search for whomever shot a teenager in the city. This all happened on Enfield Street, not far from Keeney Park. Pinpoint News Tracker showing us this location now. Police say a 17-year-old boy was shot. He is expected to survive. We'll be sure to keep you updated once we learn more information.
Breaking news right now in North Branford. Crews ran into multiple issues trying to put out a fire overnight on Beach Street. Take a look here. You can see how badly this home is damaged. Officials tell us it was first reported as an explosion around 1 this morning. Crews had trouble getting to the house because of downed power lines. They also say it was located in an area without fire hydrants. No one was hurt, thankfully, but the cause of this fire is now under investigation. Right now, 75 families are out of their homes after a fire ripped through an apartment building in Groton. This happened at the Groton Towers apartment Saturday evening. We know one person died. 3 others were taken to a hospital and are now recovering. The Red Cross is working to help the people who were displaced by this fire. Investigators also working right now to figure out how it started. We also have an update from New Britain this morning. Investigators for the state of Connecticut say they found multiple violations at a daycare facility in the moments leading up to a 2-year-old boy's tragic death. The child choked on a meatball at the YWCA facility back in July. Investigators say the staff did not call 911 immediately and failed to provide proper first aid. They also believe the food should have been cut into smaller pieces because of the child's age. The YWCA will be able to address the violations at a hearing October 23rd.
In Middletown, a man is dead this morning after driving his car into the Connecticut River right near Harbor Drive. Police tell us a 51-year-old man was in that vehicle when it went into the water. Dive teams were able to get the vehicle out, but that person did not survive. Police now investigating how the car ended up there in the first place. And in Middlefield, police there trying to figure out why a car crashed right into a pond. You can see that car in the water at Black Pond. Officers tell us no one was inside when they got there. So if you know anything about this incident, you're asked to contact Middlefield Police.
All right, how about some good news on your Monday morning? First responders in Stratford jumped into action over the weekend to help a mother deliver her baby girl. The EMTs you see here on your screen called to a home in Bridgeport for what they were called to as a maternity emergency. With the help of Bridgeport firefighters, they were able to deliver a healthy baby right at that mom's home. Congratulations.